left-wing radicals raise $1.5 million, make him out to be a hero.
See it more as a revolutionary act of protest.
Conservatives would never do such a thing because they're like, this is freaking nuts. We're not going to raise money for a killer. On the morning of December 4th, 2024, I shot Mr. Thompson in Manhattan. I knew what I was doing. Before traveling to New York, I used a 3D printer to make a gun. I traveled to New York with the intention to shoot Brian Thompson. We should feed this guy to the hyenas. Hi everybody, welcome to the Amir Khan Show. At the time of this recording, it is Saturday, August 15th, and we've got some news coming out of New York City regarding Luigi Mangione, the hero of the left. This is not a very nice guy, and we know that because he shot Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, cold-blooded because he did not like our healthcare system. So if you don't like a process in the government, you just shoot him, just like they've tried to shoot Donald Trump multiple times. Okay, now think about this for a second. Why did Luigi Mangione switch his verdict? And before I go and talk about why he switched his verdict, this is what he said yesterday. Quote, on the morning of December 4th, 2024, I shot Mr. Thompson in Manhattan. I knew what I was doing. Before traveling to New York, I used a 3D printer to make a gun. I traveled to New York with the intention to shoot Brian Thompson, end quote. Now, here's the reason why this cold-blooded killer switched his verdict. It's because he's being charged in federal court and he's being charged in New York State court. So he has two charges. He thinks that by pleading guilty in federal court, he likely doesn't have to go to New York court for double jeopardy, which is pretty much where the government can't try you for the same crime twice. It's more of a strategic move. He thinks that by pleading guilty in federal court, his sentencing will be less. So we already know the death penalty for this cold-blooded killer is off the table because in America, we don't believe in capital punishment anymore, which is crazy to me. The last time we ever hung a person, now, I'm being facetious when I say that. I mean, we do still have lethal injection, but the last time we ever hung a person was in 1994. So anyways, my point is we should feed this guy to the hyenas is what we should really do, or feed him to the bears or the lions. That's the right punishment for this guy is what I believe. And so is we should feed him and the killer of Charlie Kirk. We should get them together and feed both of these guys to a bunch of bears. That's what the Russians would do. I'm not even kidding. That's exactly what they do. Okay, I'm getting way off topic, so let me go back and talk about this guy, Luigi Mangione. Again, this is a guy where the left wing has raised $1.5 million for this guy. Now think about this for a second. Only for Luigi Mangione, a cold-blooded killer, would the crazy Democratic left-wing radicals raise $1.5 million and then make him out to be a hero. The right wing or conservatives would never do such a thing because they're like, this is freaking nuts. We're not going to raise money for a killer. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. His sentencing is in December, and he's likely going to get 20, maybe 25 years, and he'll be out earlier on good behavior. That's what's going to happen to this guy. This is a cold-blooded killer who's going to be out earlier because of good behavior, because of left-wing Democratic liberal policies. Okay, let's go over to the next topic, which is another bombshell news coming out of Minnesota regarding James O'Keefe. He's a journalist and the founder of O'Keefe Media Group. He goes around undercover, him and his team in Minneapolis, Minnesota, on the day of the election. This is crazy. I encourage you guys to watch the whole video yourself. I'm going to play some of it here so you could see, but you could see that they go into the booths and they're pretending, or he's pretending, to be a Muslim wearing a toby is what, from what I understand what they're called. It's like a shirt, but it's long sleeves and long pants. It reaches down to your ankles. I call it a dress, but my wife doesn't like it when I say it's a dress, and she also doesn't like it when I call the women that wear the full covering on their face, the hijabs. I call that a Habibi mask, and she also doesn't like it, so I'm gonna try my best not to use it, though I'm using it here. So he has his male friend wearing a full burqa, and they go in and he tries to vote. And he shows his ID, right? And then for the other 8 people that barely speak a lick of English, the people behind the booth are telling him, yeah, you are their ID. They don't have to show anything. Which is crazy to me that this guy could be an ID for 8 people that have to show no proof of identification as to who they are, and they go and they cast ballots. And here's why. This is precisely the reason why 50% of our young adults from the age of 18 to 29 feel hopeless, and 53% of them did not partake in the general presidential election in 2024. It's because they know our election system is a joke. It's been compromised. And they're right, it has been compromised. What is happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota, or what just happened, what James O'Keefe and his team brilliantly exposed, is just a snippet of what's happening in blue states. You go to California, there's video evidence of people giving homeless people money to sign up to vote and then vote. Or like vote, not even sign up, just voting on the spot. You have the state of New Jersey, the state that I live in, where you have Mikey Sherrill confirming that we have illegal aliens that have voted in our election. Now, she says it's about maybe 6,000. We know they're missing 2 or 3 more zeros at the end of that 600 people that, or 6,000 number that she gave. So this is what's happening in blue states. Let's go even further. This is how corrupt blue states are. So if we go, I woke up this morning, and this is what I saw on my X feed. And if you're not on X, you've got to go and download X, because X doesn't censor anything. And people say, well, you know, I don't want to be on X because it could take my photo and put me in a bikini. So what? Don't you want to see how you look in a bikini or in a swimming suit? Practically any other AI app could do that. So cut it out. You're just being naive is what you're being. So go and download X and get on X. So this is what I saw on my X. You have, I swear, I'm not kidding, 1, 2, 3. The first 3 feed on my X today was just a slew of arrest of Democratic politicians in blue states. That's how corrupt our system is. So you had a former Columbus, Mississippi vice mayor. Who needs a vice mayor, by the way? I was like, what's a vice mayor? A vice mayor is just like a vice president. Is, you know, they step in if someone gets sick, or the mayor gets sick or dies. Who needs a vice mayor? This is just, to me, that's right there, a job that is not needed, a made-up job, vice mayor. Vice Mayor Joseph Mickens was arrested and indicted on felony charges for money laundering and offering inducements to influence the award of contracts, aka fraud. That's what it is. He's facing up to 30 years. This guy was in this position, or excuse me, he was a council person and then he became a vice person, but he was basically in city politics from 2009 to 2025. So for 16 years, he was likely doing this, defrauding the American people and stealing American taxpayer money. Then you had another arrest, so more Democratic fraud, regarding a Georgia state representative, Sharon Henderson, just pleaded guilty to fraudulently obtaining nearly $18,000 in COVID unemployment benefits. I've got a lot of criticism to pick with President Donald Trump on the COVID relief funding. He unleashed $3.6 trillion into the economy. 50% of that likely all went to fraud. So I have a huge... The government creates inflation, okay? So that's one of the reasons why I've got a huge bone to pick with him, because he's part of the reason why we have this inflation, when you just out of thin air created $3.6 trillion when you thought we were in some sort of, 1930 Great Depression, when really it was You got sick and you got better. Okay, then you had another Democratic mayor, Lawrence of Massachusetts, Brian DePana, the former who is from Dominican Republic and can barely speak a lick of English. I've actually seen him speak. He could barely speak a lick of English. Look, I don't want to pick on Dominicans here. I like Dominicans. My best friend growing up was Dominican. In fact, we're friends still this day. But the Dominicans that come over now, they don't speak a lick of English. I play basketball with the Dominicans sometimes, and every time they come, they pull up with their Honda Civics and their music just blasting. It hurts my ear. I literally have to go like this all the time when when they pull up to play basketball. I'm just like this. And they call me Papi, and I'm like, stop calling me Papi. Call me by my name. My name is Amir. Oh, what is your name? Okay, well, let's play. So this guy was arrested for allegedly fraudulently obtaining and using over $1.5 million in COVID relief funds. And this just happened in Massachusetts, while the governor of Massachusetts, Maura Haley, passed a bill to legalize abortion until the day she signed a bill allowing abortion where you could abort a baby until death, which is just a nice word for murder, by the way. That's what abortion really is, just a nice word for murder. So while the state of Massachusetts is facing housing problems, it's got a massive out-migration problem. You have more people leaving the state than coming in. You have a child care cost problem in Massachusetts. The whole state, look at all these blue states. They're completely corrupt, and they're running massive deficits. And their answer to these deficits is just taxing American people more and more and more. So you look at blue states, highest crime rates, highest family and individual debts, highest taxes, kids in school can't read at their grading level. All these things, it's all blue states. They're all running deficits. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I feel like I just frustrated myself from this monologue, but and maybe I did lose a few years off my life, but I had to get that off my chest. All right, guys, catch you guys in the next one. Bye.